picked up some food. That'll start developing Hal's steward skill. Physion, I could use some more troops here. It'd be nice to reinforce Cestodime Castle. It was under siege a minute ago, but evidently it's not. It seems likely that there are going to be Sturgians this direction. I guess we're okay for troops here. 256 troops, a nice variety of troops, some Lake Rat Wreckers still, and we better do this here. I don't know, we start an episode, in fact. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. We got the little green recording thing still going here. And so we're going to start another episode of our epic Vlandian campaign. We continue to follow the children of Baron York here. We are now with Hal, right at the helm of his family. Hal, level 29 here, is taking over for his brother. If you missed, of course, the last episode, his brother was killed in a huge battle. And we can continue to upgrade Hal here. He's going to upgrade pretty quickly because, of course, not only are his learning rates pretty decent in some of these categories, but obviously we're behind him, at the helm of his skill here. So he's going to be riding a horse a lot. He's going to be scoring a lot of kills. And this is going to be something we are prioritizing. You must have a commander on horse. This is wholly unexpected that all of a sudden I would have to give up control of Rylan, although I probably should have anticipated it more. That's one of the keys to being a good commander. Good at life in general is anticipating stuff, and frankly, I failed here. Hal is set up to be a good commander, but not a good warrior. Now, opportunity knocks. We've got an Aserai force here coming, and we're going to pick up a few more nobles here. 253 influence, so we're okay to pick up a few. I am continuing to manage our influence here, and we have the same number of troops as these Aserai forces, so I'm really tempted to keep an army about 1,200 troops, maybe a little bit more depending on what we're facing. I'm going to lure this guy just a little bit here. It'd be nice to have a few more of our units healed. And the power bar is pretty close to even. In fact, the troop number is pretty close to even. So I like our chances here. Frankly, an opportunity to demonstrate tactics against the Aserai, but also to continue to treadmill Hal up in levels here. We've got to get him a few levels. We've got to get some of his combat skills wrapped up just a little bit better. And let's take a little closer look at this Aserai force here. Yeah, it's stacked. So no easy battle, despite the fact that we have an even number of troops here. That said, we've got horse archers. We've even got some skirmishers. We've got a bunch of shock troops, Manavliatons, elite palace guards. So we should be able to do work here. Now, facing the Aserai, you can anticipate ranged weapons. I think eventually we'll switch to 2 Jarids. What I mean by anticipating ranged weapons is the Aserai and the Botanians have the most ranged weapons of any units in the game, right? Even compared to the Khuzait. All their infantry has ranged weapons, right? So against the Aserai, you really have to prepare for javelins, throwing axes, which means we're going to fight them a little different. And frankly, my tactics continue to evolve. The longer I play Bannerlord, it gets a little bit more refined. And people are surprised to hear that someone with thousands of hours of playing Bannerlord is still refining tactics, but we are. And I'm going to try something unique in this battle, or at least something I haven't displayed a lot, especially in this campaign. We, frankly, are going to do a bait ball. We are going to try to attract the enemy to a circle and square situation where the units defend each other. A little bit of symbiosis on defense here. The 1st and 2nd Division, in fact, they have banners. That'll make this even better, right? So this 1st and 2nd Division, you can think of this as this is the distractionary square, right? Sun Tzu, all warfare is based on deception. I want this 1st and 2nd Division to gather the enemy's attention, and then while they're looking that way, we will roundhouse them from a direction they don't expect. Of course, what we're basically trying to do here is use our ranged weapons. We have a pretty good amount of ranged weapons. In fact, we have a lot with the skirmishers, although I don't see many skirmishers. The Lake Rat Wreckers might be in that 1st Division. We don't have that many, of course. We have like 20. But with all these horse archers, if we can set up essentially kind of a shaped C-form around this bait as the enemy attacks that circle and square, yeah, we have a huge shock troop division too. As they attack this square and this circle, they will throw javelins in there. These guys hopefully will hold on for dear life. And then the rest of our units, of course, can pound them. That's the idea. The shock troop division will probably bring them up once the combat is fierce. And man, it's really going to take some time to get used to his polearm swinging skill. I like the shield. I might, for a little while, actually go with double javelins, shield, and a polearm. This legendary glaive I want to keep a hold of because it's going to amplify his weak skills. He's weak at polearm, but when you have such a terrific weapon, it makes you less weak, right? So this is actually just horse archers, but actually, never mind. The vanguard's on the way. Let's have those guys stand still. Our archers and crossbows should do a number on these horse archers here. I expect them to start dying. And this, folks, is top speed. I almost feel like putting on the RTS mod. I can't believe how slow his horse is. And I guess for some of you fellas that say the game is too fast when you watch us play, you're going to appreciate this because I am riding evidently a fat horse. Because I feel like I am running 5 miles an hour. Now here come the javelins. They're kind of coming in at an oblong angle. It's not quite what I was hoping for here, but I got this shield, right? We can just whip this out and protect ourselves. And now here come the arrows, right? Now they kind of split, but look at most of them are circling that circle. They're circling the circle, which is what we want because that circle is protecting itself. Some of them are kind of coming into here to our archers. The bottom line is they have so many Vanguard Ferris. I'm not surprised that they're sort of breaking their units apart here. But the circle and square is getting a lot of attention, and that's freeing up our units, right? Our crossbow over here, this quasi-shock troop division here can basically be told to kill. And hopefully they can stand up some units here. Now, holy shit, I just took a lot of damage with one hit. Hal, of course, has pretty weak hit points. When you have such low athleticism, when you have such low, when your character is not very high level, and he's level 29, it's not like he's worthless. It's very different. Let's see, let's get our infantry towards their infantry. They're moving their huge infantry division towards our horse archer, or towards our crossbow. But when your main character has double digits athleticism, it's a whole different game. Than when you have 280, 300, 320. And I cannot believe this horse speed. It feels like I have a wounded horse here. I'll have to check it at some point or other. I'm not exaggerating like anybody's like, step on it, man. This is, to quote that scene in Terminator 2, this is the vehicle's top speed. Get to the chopper now. Right, this is all I have here. Fortunately, we've got tactics. We can sandwich this infantry between our first and third, and that ought to do a number to it. All these crossbow can be told to charge. Up they come. This division, in fact, holding fire. I just want a mega concentrated attack here as we blast this Aserai infantry. I love concentrating fire with crossbow. When they're shooting, they can't hit these guys, right? Because there's guys in their way. You just tell them to hold fire, and every one of them come up and blast the enemy with their mace. They're crossbows, so they run out of ammo. You might as well charge with them, right? Because they're damn good at melee. And now we can start moving up. I mean, we didn't just win. We smoked that infantry. They got vaporized. Now, one thing Hal does well is commands. And what I mean by that, of course, I'm commanding. He has good leadership. He has good steward. He has good medicine skill, right? We're going to get to the point where he has, hopefully, 330 medicine skill. That was never my intention for this campaign, but even though this campaign has a built-in storyline, at least some elements that I'm putting in that are created in my head, so to speak, there's a lot that's just happening randomly in this campaign as the twists and turns, the unexpected things that happen to me affect the campaign, and this is one of them. We have a commander on a horse that runs 12 miles an hour facing elite foes, getting shot. I mean, it changes combat for sure, because of course Ryland would have cut down 15 or 20 archers here and they wouldn't even have seen them. Here, Hal is getting shot, but this is a perfect opportunity for me to farm too, right? Now I'm not going to subject you guys to battle after battle after battle while we level Hal. But in the early stages of him taking over here, we're going to show quite a few of the battles. This is a close battle, and of course, tactically, it's interesting. Managing against an incredibly powerful Aserai force when you have a strong but maybe not uber Khuzait force. So far, so good. Okay, our mount ate that one. Thank you, mount. The guy came in with his spear a little bit low. So the enemy's regrouping here. Let's pour it on, right? That's one of the big advantages of the Khuzait. When the enemy regroups, it's just, you know, yum, yum. You should be getting excited. Hold my pizza oven shield here. There are some guys who want me to use Khuzait and Vlandian shields and stuff like that. Maybe so, maybe at some point or other, but it's hard to dismiss the incredible defensive value of the Sturgian shield. I had someone actually say that you move a lot slower. I think he means on foot with the bigger shield. I don't know if that's the case, as long as you have the right perks. He was like, it's much heavier, and I was like, much heavier? So I went and looked. It's like 4 pounds, and then a lighter, smaller shield's like 3.2. That makes no difference in speed. Like one pound means nothing. Okay, so they have a bunch of crossbow and archers here that we're just surrounding. I've got horse archers on their flank. These guys are just spraying and crossing their T's. Let's get the 7th and the 6th on the enemy's flank. The enemy's wrapped up here really bad, and now we can start bringing our cavalry right through their midst to finish this battle in a plume. Just like the Baron situation, of course, it's important that we win battles, you know, in a decisive manner. Right? We can't afford to lose 300 or 400 troops. We don't really have a big foundation, a big base, right? Of course, Hal at this stage doesn't have 4 cities and 3 castles, so we're still establishing a strong army here. It's imperative we don't suffer huge losses. That said, his medicine skill is really going to help, and I am loving this. Maybe you guys are bored, but leveling up this character, I can tell you, I was very worried there. I took a walk after Ryland died, and I was very concerned about all of a sudden the main character having like 30 polearm skill and 20 riding skill, because of course if I fight every battle on foot, the tactical part of this game becomes a lot harder for you guys to see and for me as a commander. So a crushing victory here, and how beautiful is that, right? 30, what was that, 30 riding skill and 45 polearm and 30 plus riding skill in one battle, and a crushing of a very powerful Aserai force, and no deaths. You know, my butt puckers a little bit. I'm sure you guys are like, TMI. Too much information, thanks. But you just hope, you know, Rose or somebody doesn't die here as we continue to roll on with this death for all night. Now, Rose, you're slacking. 1 kill. Haven't seen Rose in a while, but she's a Patreon supporter. She swings by the channel sometimes, so we will continue to talk to you even if you're not here. Maybe you folks, you know, watch this episode a month later. That's part of the beauty of YouTube and this content, right? The beauty is that I can take a vacation. I took a vacation a couple weeks ago with my wife, and I had episodes scheduled, right? So they're just pumping out content for you fellas. I'm not a conceited fuck when I don't respond to your comments. I appreciate all the comments. What it is I don't have the internet for 6 days because I'm in the woods with my wife. We went to a beautiful lake and stuff like that. So I've got 2 bags of large Druids. So like I said, I think it actually makes sense. I'm not really using his sword. We will at some point or other switch around Hal's configuration here, but right now I think it makes sense to run double javelins. His throwing skill's not really going up, and I don't think I'm going to spec it because he only has 1 point there. But we will continue to use throwing weapons here rather than a bow. And the reason is because I can use a bow, the glaive, and a shield. I can have all those different configurations, and it's going to be pretty effective. I do not find a bow from a horse to be very effective until you get it considerably more skilled. Well, what the hell's happening here? Sestadime is now being besieged by the Aserai, and now there's a Sturgian force, but it's just the right size, right? In fact, I dare say they might run from us, so let's trap them here, right? Let's ditch a noble. We will circle around, trap the imbecile AI, and we will have them for breakfast. Never mind, they're coming in hot. Come back here. 7, I think that's her name. No, don't run. She's running. Get over here. We need you. Although, you know, 900 Sturgians.
I bid you peace.
Look at this stupid wench. We're favored. Well, come get some, Magna. You can... Thank you for leveling up. The Sturgian Chief Nordic guy's here. Check his stats out. Look at this shit. 346 polearm, 358 medicine skill. So you will see Canute Forkbeard and his troops in this battle. In fact, this makes this battle a lot harder than it looks on the surface. We might be favored, but strap yourself in here, right? Now, the Sturgian forces... I don't know if I know this landscape. There's trees and a ridge. They attacked us. So let's try a shield and slam tactic here. This is another little tactic I'm developing, very similar to what I just did. We're going to present the enemy with the defensive front, put units on the side, offensive units and ranged units towards our left flank here, and then collapse on the enemy. We'll see what this looks like once we get the units down on the battlefield. Make sure the slope is correct. But you're going to see Canute Forkbeard's troops affect this battle, and it's going to be interesting. This is the kind of battle where we may win exemplary fashion, or it might be really close. I mean, I guess we can lose. I don't think we'll lose. We should get that other Khuzait unit to join, although, of course, we could get reinforcements from anybody. The Aserai could join. The more Sturgian forces could join. I do have the reinforcement system tricked out now. What I mean by that is we're not going to change it. It works really well. So what I've done for you fellas trying to emulate is we did 3 for the timer. That means troops get to you relatively quickly to join the battle. The other 3 settings is pretty simple. It's 60, 70, and 60. So enemy troops are slightly more likely to join than allied troops. And hold on, let me just make sure this is configured right. Okay, so it looks good. Look at that slope. The enemy's got to come over that ridge. We've got a crossbow division, a cavalry division in a skein to protect both wings, and then an infantry division in a shield wall, very thick shield wall. And that's going to be our shield, right? Over here is going to be our slam. We're going to put 3 horse archer divisions, and then I'll have a crossbow division and shock troops. And just know, of course, we're trying to get the enemy to choose one of these 2 targets. We will kite on this left side with this mobility of the horse archers, and then as and when they attack the right flank there, we'll smash them. We'll smash them with this left flank. All right, so 7 did join the battle here as I chase these horse archers at 10 miles an hour. And you see it right there, right? 158, and that unit didn't die. That is because of Sven Forkbeard and other high-end Khuzait units that have... I saw a noble in there. Try to wipe out the nobles early on here. Let me get back to that, though, for the reinforcement system. Let me see if I can say this real quick and fight at the same time. 60 for radius, 70 for enemy forces joining, and 60 for allied forces joining. In other words, that the reinforcement system comes from a pretty good distance, not a huge distance, but a pretty good distance. Enemy forces are likely to join. Okay, we're just at skirmishing range here. The enemy is kind of having a hard time choosing here, which is actually just fine. I wish they would attack our shield, our center there, but this is fine because they're right between, they're caught in the crossfire between all of these horse archers, crossbow. We have crossbow divisions at both locations. I mean, we have archers too, but it's mostly crossbow. I think what we'll do here, and the enemy horse or cavalry in the center there is being annihilated. Let's see. No, let's not charge those guys. Well, I think what we're going to do here is kite this infantry just a little bit more, and then what we'll do is collapse on them with 2 different infantry divisions. I can defend all of this from their huge archer bank by just putting up a line of cavalry. Again, you guys might be looking at the power bar, or maybe it's gone. I don't know what I'll do in the after editing and say, hey, you can win this battle, right? You're favored, but it's no normal battle, right? I'm hitting guys for 137 and they don't die. Conceivably, with Sven Forkbeard, they could take, I think, 220 damage and still live. So you just don't know what's going to happen. All right, so let's block off all the action here with the 2nd Cav Division. What that does is that allows our infantry and crossbow to move up without being attacked by their archers. All our cavalry is now going to absorb arrows here while we focus on this huge vanguard. 281 troops, lots of Varangians, lots of tough Varangians. And just kind of like that previous battle, what we're going to do here is sandwich between the 1st and 3rd. I didn't intend it to be quite like this, but it's working out just as well. The enemy's trapped between. They're being pounded by horse archers and crossbow, and now we can isolate them and destroy them with infantry. Let's get the 8th Corps right here at the edge of that rock. They can charge as well. The enemy seems to be chasing Hal the whole battle. It's weird. They're like chasing me. I don't know. Maybe there's a bounty already on Hal. And you can see what's going on here. I think the infantry is just trapped between these 2 different forces. Now they're getting pinched. They're all weakened. Here comes the 3rd Division. We'll wrap them around the enemy. It's a melee kill box. Shit, the 8th Division is kind of in the way here. Some of those guys are going to get mauled. Now the 1st Division on the other side, so the enemy has nowhere to go. nowhere to defend, and now they get punished. I still got 3/4 of a health bar, so even though I have kind of a weak character here, we can do a little bit of slashing at the margins here. I feel like I have a level 12 character. He's so slow with his weapon. Of course, his polearm skill is like a level 12 character in the 100s. Right, that's so low for this stage. All right, now let's cut off their archers before they can regroup. Let's get the 6th, 7th, and 8th and just position them so that they can't even regroup. Oh, shit. They've angled themselves away. That's actually pretty good AI. They angled themselves away from our strong bank here. That saved them a lot of death because we were going to flank and pre-kite their pre-kite. Basically anticipate them falling back and spray them with arrows. Now, you know what I think we'll do? That's a weak infantry block coming up to attack them. Let's move these 2 archer divisions off to the side here and just drag our fucking infantry, or our heavy cav here, right through these reinforcements coming up. Charge these bitches. Oh, they just got trucked. I saw bodies flying everywhere. These are weak Sturgians now, so try to finish the deal here. That's a noble. Let's cut this gal down, or guy, or whatever the fuck. She's wearing a big bear's helmet. Down she goes. And the rest of the Sturgians here are panicking. They look like people during a crowd crush at a football game. They don't know what to do. They're being shot. Horse archers are wrapping around them. They're kind of holding their shields up here, but all that's going to do, of course, is delay the inevitable as our forces just bore in here. Our infantry's now arriving. Kill them all, boys. We've got peasants coming up, too. That means that we've suffered a fair bit of losses, but these battles were almost back-to-back, too, so we've got a lot of injured troops at this stage. And we are farming polearm skill here. Our little militia band of archers over here, reinforcements, are just scorching. And Canute Forkbeard, I mean, it wasn't a monstrous force here. You don't usually see forces this small, in fact, in this campaign. Canute Forkbeard got stomped aside, right? So far, so good for Hal here. He's having success. He's not exactly lighting the world on fire as a warrior, but he's a good fighter, right? And sometimes that's kind of the optimal recipe. Now, another 8 and 7 for riding and polearm. We'll continue to improve those skills here. He's going to level quickly, too. In like 10 episodes or 5 episodes, Hal will be, level 33, 34, 35. When you're commanding a big army like this, you just gain so many different perk points, etc. 268. We're still good for troops. We keep getting a few odds and end prisoners here and there. We've got low-level horse archers that continue to level. And it looks like Canute Forkbeard ran. Well, he's too tall for the screen. You can't even see his whole character here. But come with us, Chieftain of the Norse. You failed, right? Now, of course, in real life, you would just hold him for, 10 million ransom, and you would never let the guy go. You would say there will be permanent peace. Just like the incredible war indemnities that the Holy Roman Empire and Charles V demanded for Francis I after the Battle of Pavia, right? You would just hold them for an enormous ransom. Eventually, he traded over his sons, I think, and then ditched town, broke all the rules of the treaties. If you want to see some debauchery and Machiavellianism, all you have to do is research that shit. Pick up a few more units here because we have a potential huge battle looming. We saw his army earlier. Don't really care too much about the children here. I'm just doing this so that these come off the screen. Acolyte. So they took Acolyte. Okay, we don't care about that either. We don't really want Acolyte. We're kind of moving west, if you can't tell. The east is a total mess. There's been a huge amount of rebellions. And of course, Hal wants to go to where the action is. We could pick up our brother here. For some reason, these companions, they're still saying it. Look at this. Not available right now. Not available right now. I don't know if that's a bug. Maybe we need to reload the game or something like that. But none of our companions can be called to the army, even though they're free. But this was Wazu Bahn. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you didn't see it, Wazu Bahn is sieging here at Sustadine Castle. He had an army of like 2,800 earlier. So I'm calling all the nobles I feel like I can afford to call. 122 influence here. They'll be here within a day. So we should be able to gather most, if not all of these troops, do a little bit of healing, and then take on the true Sultan of the Aserai. Of course, the Sultan officially is Khuzait, but that is by permission only. take a peek here. Yeah, so 2,000. He's getting worn down, sieging the city here, but this is a golden opportunity to take down Wazu Bahn. I don't know if we've defeated him in this campaign, right? Wazu Bahn, of course, anybody who watched the Aserai campaign, I don't need to say anything more about him. If you didn't watch that, just know he was our main character from the Aserai campaign. So we have this amazing situation where our main character in this campaign gets to face off against this monstrous foe from our previous campaign. And we're going to have a doozy of a battle here. 2,100 against 2,000. We actually outnumber him, but we're going to need that. Now, they're coming to ransom Canute Forkbeard. I've got no reason to ransom him. He can either escape. We're not going to execute him, of course. That would just ruin our reputation with everybody. But we're not about to just give up the Norse chieftain. We've got the right banners here, so the right situations. So sit up for this battle, because this is, these we can absolutely get ripped apart. Wazu Bahn, of course, has monstrous skill sets. I've already talked about him ad nauseum. It's very close to how he was in the Aserai campaign, only it's embellished even more, right? His medicine skills off the charts, so his troops similarly, have a huge amount of hit points. And we've had a few battles against him, and they haven't gone well, to put it lightly, right? It's been a spanking, quite frankly. Now, let's see. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4 horse archer divisions. We have 2 tiny archer divisions. Not really going to be able to do much with those, but we have a lot of horse archers. This narrow valley, this is not the first time, of course, you guys have seen a battle in this narrow valley, but at least we're at a good position in the narrow valley here. It'll be interesting to see if they charge, right? We had a huge battle here with the Khuzait in this exact same setup, against the Sturgians, and they did not move. They refused to move. And frankly, that was with Rylan in charge. We got destroyed, right? They didn't just win, they mangled us. Now, if memory serves me right, they had something like 1,000 Vlandians. It's probably the strongest army I've ever seen in any game I've played in Bannerlord. Just the nature of these characters that we're facing, amplified by all that. But you don't want to hear about that. Let's talk about this. So we've got this 3rd division. That's going to be able to do some good work. Again, we're going to continue to try this shield and hammer approach. I don't really have a good name for it, but look at this division. Man, that's like 50 Vlandians. And we're not recruiting them, but the armies that are with us will recruit them. And you know what? This is going to be beautiful, because we're going to be able to set up a ring defense here with ranged units wrapped all the way around it, right here in the center. Even though the enemy's kind of rushing in, I can set up archers and horse archers above, a big ring of cavalry, in a ring. Trying to make a circle. Here we go. There's a circle. And then infantry in a square, very similar to what we just did. This is not the first time I've done this before for battle, but it's the first time we've really been rolling it out for a campaign. And my initial results in the custom battle menu were very successful. So I'm not terrified to try it here. Again, you're trying to get the enemy distracted, attacking your absolutely strongest units while the rest of your units work, right? We've got this shock troop division we can bring up on the enemy. You want them to dump all their javelins here. This is particularly useful against the Aserai, because those fucks across the valley there are just pounding our troops with javelins. And you can picture the guys in the square there being there must just be a hail of javelins coming in there. And that's what the death is, right? Now this is all Varangians for the enemy, so let's bring our shock troops up here. Pull this, who's this? This 7th? No, shit, move back. I want our 3rd division to eat their infantry. We outnumber them. Let's take advantage over here. I can see the javelins laying all over the ground. All right, let's kill these Varangians here. I'll move these horse archer divisions up the hill. It's working though, right? The enemy is circling this circle, just like the previous battle. And I've mentioned this before, but against the Aserai, you can anticipate the early stages looking bad because they're dumping their javelins. When you're facing this many Vanguard Ferris, literally hundreds of Vanguard Ferris, they're going to have an unbelievable amount of javelins being thrown, right? And they're lethal. They're Jereeds, I think. The Vanguard Ferris. I don't like this being stuck in here. Get out of here, fight my way through. You can see the javelins just laying all over the ground. You can hear horsemen dying because they're being blasted with javelins. But that's 20 or 15% of our army taking the blow of 440. That's 440 Vanguard Ferris. While the rest of our units work, right? So it's like you and 3 good friends going to a bar, against 10 people, and you've got one really tough guy who you send in, and he attracts 8 of the guys in the fight, while the 3 of you beat the shit out of the other guys and systematically win, right? I know that's a strange analogy, but that's what we're doing here. Distract the enemy with the center there and work with the rest of our troops. And the death span looks good. Looks really good considering the attack we're here. We've got a superior position. Our horse archers are just scorching everything in sight. We've got probably 100 cons guards here. Maybe even more. But they also, you know, I didn't look real close. I thought I saw 500 Vanguard Ferris, right? So we need to have a lot of these units, and this battle is by no means over. It looks good so far, though. Infantry's now charging. The enemy's bottled up something fierce. Our archers are working. I've got a crossbow division and a archer division on the right side, but they're so small. I'm just sort of augmenting them. Let's see. Let's get the 8th. Let's get the 8th stretched across there. I'm just augmenting them with some horse archers behind them. I like horse archers behind archers here because there's no line of sight issues. But the archers can see and shoot. Now we are melting these waves. Fuckers. And so far, man, resounding success, right? We are getting a huge kill ratio. And they are reforming. So let's reposition here. Let's get some archers. We weren't able to do this before the battle started, right? The battle started in a hurry, so let's use these ridges here. If you have time, I think this landscape, this is how you want to set up. 2 or 3 archer divisions back there on that high rank. Of course, you want to hold fire at the stage. You don't want all your troops shooting. And let's put a defensive wave here on the right. The reason you want to do that is to bind the enemy up on this right side. They come over the hill, they get stopped in their tracks, they get grappled by all our units here. Look at how slow this guy is, horses. This is surreal. You know what I need to do? I'm not sure he has a good horse. I can't remember what kind of horse we gave him. He might be on a fucking donkey or something like that. This is kind of ironic. I mean, it's unbelievable how slow he is. These are lords. I wonder if Wazu Bahn is here. Now, the AI, unfortunately, doesn't use Wazu Bahn like we would like to see him used, even though he's got the skill and the equipment for it. You'll see Wazu Bahn with a spear and javelins. Instead of having, or even a bow, instead of having a two-handed axe and javelins, the AI tends to use nobles. They tend to give him a two-handed spear, sometimes a polearm. Look at this suicidal guy here. Lost your... Got divorced, huh, dude? Just trying to cut it short. We'll help you out. But the AI... Oh, they are reforming, too. There's a huge amount of Vanguard Ferris. Fuck, I thought we had got them cleared out. Here come the javelins. I better haul ass here, or at least move ass as we run 12 miles an hour. But this is the vehicle's top speed. The old Schwarzenegger. Get to the chopper now. Just terrible actor. But was good in certain movies.
Infantry, forward!
Enjoy me some Terminator. All right, so the enemy now comes over. Look at all those cavalry and infantry over there. The 3rd Division is a mix of shock troops and cavalry, right? We want the enemy to commit. Once they're in the middle of these guys here, you just have these guys fucking charge, clog everything to pieces. 1st Division can fucking also charge. Once they're surrounded, look at how surrounded they're getting. You want to absorb all those javelins, right? Now look at those boys charge, right? The enemy stood up. You can have all of those infantrymen go berserk. Our archers are raking. And I'm just sitting here holding this ridge, right? Trying to be part of the block. Don't let the enemy pour over the ridge. And if they do, they get shot. That looks really good. I mean, yeah, that's the 2nd wave that we have just melted. They've still got 250 troops, but I'm going to start getting aggressive here. If I can get these horse archers to the flank, in fact, we're going to do it now. They've left their our left flank open, their right flank. Let's get over here and cut off their retreat. All these horse archers will have great line of sight down into the valley on the enemy. And we could start, uppercutting our enemy on the ropes here. They've got some Fiend Champs and archers down there, but it's like 20 and not 200. That looks like Wazu Bahn right there. Right, is that? It is Wazu Bahn. There he goes. Well, see, they got him wearing a shield and a spear, which is definitely suboptimal. Look how fast his horse is running. He just vanished into the distance there. I don't remember what his riding skill is, but it's faster than Hal's, that's for sure. He had all kinds of javelins and arrows sticking out of him. Unfortunately, you can't make the AI lords, fight exactly how you want. You can't give them a bunch of throwing daggers and shit like that. But it's still badass that he's in the campaign. And you don't want to get hit by one of his javelins, that's for sure. Oh, shit. Speaking of getting hit. We're still doing good, though, right? Let's take a peek here. What we're dealing with this next wave is a whole bunch of horse archers. Let's start moving up some units here, right? They've got a few cavalry sort of trying to flank us there, but we've got horse archers in their way. We can start to get offensive here. Let's start moving archers over both ridges. We've got an infantry line right down the center. Now we're ahead in this fight, or at least I think we're ahead. Let's seal the deal, right? Let's finish the deal. Let's get some savage flanking on them. This is all infantry. Let's try to get some troops here on the side of the enemy. We can sort of bottle up these troops trying to get to our archers as they reform. Shit. Our horse almost died. Shit, I just probably fucked myself here. Let's see, I gotta turn around here. We're getting drilled with throwing weapons. Shit. Okay, let's get the 8th, 3rd Corps pushed up. I need a cav division. Thank God I got a shield still, because I have no horse. Holy shit, fucking throwing weapons. Hold on, shield. Jesus. Fuck. Oh, I got palace guards coming up. Time to run. Holy shit, look at my shield. I look like a porcupine. Bob and weave here. They're chasing me. Get over here, cavalry. I need a horse. Hal needs a horse. Look, I've never seen a shield look like that. Holy shit. Wow, that was fucking hubris there. It's more realizing that I have an incredibly slow horse. You can't really juke throwing weapons when you have 80 or 100 riding skill or whatever he has. But, goddamn, we made it out of there alive. Thank you, shield. All right, now let's try to finish the deal here. That was a lot of infantry coming up here, and they're all high-level infantry. God, and I made these cavalry vulnerable by coming and rescuing me. These horse archers are getting butchered. These archers here are jammed up. Let's pull these guys back and spread out. We've got to get an archer division on the other side here. Charge, boys. Fuck. And the horse archers surrounding us up there. Look at the death span. God damn it, I might have fucked us here. We've got some cavalry pushing in here. We've got a nice archer division. It's bloody, though. They've got 188 horse archers circling us, too. I don't have an answer for it right now. Our infantry's kind of all spread out. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be waiting in here. He has no... Oh, fuck. He has no athleticism. You just can't escape. You play Baron York one day and then Hal the next, and run for your lifetime. I need a horse. Let's get... that's our Consguard. If we can get cavalry up here, we should be able to get a nice angle on them. Fucking got smoked. Who's this shit? This isn't even one of our units. This is a lord. We're close to losing this battle here. We were winning. That was calamitous there. Let's see. Let's pull some units back here. Let's see. That infantry wave looks like it's annihilated. We're not defeated in this battle, though. We've been doing well so far, so let's reset the positions here. The units that are charging are just going to have to get back as well as they can here. I've got to reset and get these reinforcements sped up. 1, 2, 3. We've got our original 4 divisions, basically, and then we've got a mix of other divisions. This guy's got a decent spear, but mostly I'm just using him to command the rest of this battle. God, this is why, like some guys use save scum. Obviously, I don't want the main character going down. I didn't hear him groan, but how disastrous will that be if Hal's killed already? You just... you fucking clench your butthole and hope. We're doing a lot of butthole clenching in this campaign. Probably have hemorrhoids or some shit from this campaign. I'm sacrificing a lot for you fellas. Right, we got a good amount of archers here. We can get them in position. Cavalry is moving forward. We've got a lot of heavy cavalry still. Those guys should start hitting the enemy line soon. Their infantry is thick in the middle. Fuck. I like this, though. This is a lot of heavy cavalry. Let's try driving this right into the back of the enemy. Infantry here, a little weak hammer and anvil. The system just doesn't do what you would think it would do. We got fucking Vanguard Ferris still pouring in on us. All right, let's get archers moved up to the top here. Both different flanks. We've got a horse archer division and an archer division on this side here. At least they're already in good position here. Got to get infantry down in this valley and start clogging up all their infantry. Fuck, they have a ton of elite infantry coming in here. It's just a huge zerg of high-end infantry, and it all is palace guards and elite troops. Fuck. Oh, at the back end of it, though, there's some weaker troops. All right, we've got this shit. Come on, boys. Let's bore right in the back of this infantry with the cavalry. Our archers on the left flank, or the right flank here, these guys here are going to be able to do major work. As the enemy charges the right flank, the guys on the left here are just spraying the enemy. I mean, it's almost better for our troops to pull on to the right side here, right? Have these infantry and cavalry pull back. That way these guys... Oh, this is a huge cavalry charge. There were camels in there yelling. Get up there, boys. You want the enemy attacking one flank and not both, right? This left flank is going to be instrumental now in the rest of this battle. Look at this shit. Archers and horse archers just spread out in a huge mob. Now we got to attack their archers. Let's put them right in the midst of their archers. 187 archers they have. We try to get our horse archers to flank them. And let's drag our cavalry right the fuck through here. Come through here, boys. They have a lot of archers here. Oh yeah, they're starting to come up with peasants. Come on, boys. We've got Wazu Bahn here. Capture the fucking Sultan. Love it. There's fucking camels stampeding their way through. We've got some jawals, and it's a nice feature, right, to have these gigantically tall camels stampeding all these Khuzait. Of course, in the Aserai campaign, it was kind of the shoe was on the other foot. As the Aserai, we had the jawal, and it was fun smashing the Khuzait into oblivion with all our camels. Definitely one of the best battles I've ever faced. We had like 100 camels, and we smashed the enemy with repeated cavalry charges. It's probably the best battle we've ever faced. It was a rolling 35, 40-minute battle. I won't tell you too much about it in case you haven't seen it yet, but it was fucking... The guys who remember the battle, it's one of those things you just don't forget. Like I was pitted out. Anyways, this is success, right? I'm reminiscent about the past here, but the future is more impressive than the past. Even though Hal ate shit there, we got a little bit overzealous with his combat skills, or rather his lack thereof. He's fucking victorious here. And in fact, in back-to-back battles, he captured the chief of the Norse and now the chief of the Aserai, right? The two main protagonists or antagonists in this series. And Hal, this fledgling commander, not bad, kid, not bad, taking over for his brother. That is resounding success here. So it's time to consolidate here, right? It's time to continue to move west, drive a wedge into the Aserai forces. The Aserai forces seem to stretch all the way over to the Vlandian territory, so I think that's the way to go here. And, you know, there's sort of this inexorable pull at this stage of the command towards the Baron, right? Towards the Vlandians, towards the House of York here, as this campaign doesn't wind to a finish, but winds to a crescendo, if you've never heard that word before. Now, Wazu Bahn was kind of a bitch. Sometimes the AI just racks it up with the AI units that we've made for him. 2 kills is pretty pathetic with such an elite unit. I keep forgetting we're not restricted here with Hal. With the Baron we are, but with Hal and Ryland and whoever else has been in charge here with the Khuzait, we've been taking all these prisoners. We'll continue to do so. And a great couple of battles here for Hal, right? Really 3 battles in a row. I forgot that Sturgian battle kind of in between. A little bit of farming here, but also, I don't know who's got him. We've got Wazu Bahn. In fact, the easiest way to do this is just to have them deposit him in the dungeon. I think Wazu Bahn, there's Canute Forkbeard, right? We've got this multicultural dungeon. Where is he? There he is. There's the chieftain himself, Wazu Bahn. Now, I could go to the dungeon to talk to him, but we don't need to do that. Hal is just going to look the other way as the most powerful man in Calradia is thrown into the dungeon here at Sestenheim Castle. Fucking beautiful. Not going to ransom him anytime soon. He'll probably escape. That's the nature of shit like this. We're starting to rack up some influence here. Guzid's got more problems as more rebellions crisscross across Calradia. But we're going to try to take advantage of this, right? We're going to try to use this momentum. Hal's got a head of steam here. He's got a nice mullet, as nice as a mullet as you can have here. His sister, his wife, starting to level up here. I think Billick is his wife. And we head to Amitatis to siege, right? It's time to expand this fledgling empire. And of course, if you want to see more from this campaign, I'm going to break these episodes up right here. That was tumultuous for the enemy, I guess. That was chaotic and in a wonderful way here. As Rose gains medicine skills, Hal gains leadership skills. It's a beautiful thing. And this campaign continues to head towards a crescendo, right? The War of the Four Powers. It's going to get interesting. So I'm actually going to start the siege here and probably continue it with the next episode. You want to see more from the campaign, now is when you want to subscribe. You want to hit that notify button. That way you know when new episodes come out. I will try to have 2 or 3 episodes a week. Please hit that like button on the way out, friends. With all that said, Hal and I will see you next time.